recognizing Kristin today out of about 250,000 agents nationwide. She's been chosen and she's been recognized today as she's been selected as the top broker agent of the month for Portland, Oregon. And she is a 7-star top referral partner. Kristin, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, and congratulations. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, thank you. It's this year is actually starting off really well for me, and I'm super excited of what's to come.
So glad to hear it. So let's dive right in, Kristin. Can you tell me how you even got into real estate?
Um, it was something I think I always wanted to do, but it was a timing thing for me. And after my youngest kind of was getting ready to graduate high school, it was like, okay, I've been stay-at-home mom with you guys, just subbing in the schools part-time when you're in school because my husband traveled, and it's like I need to do something for me. Because everything was about doing it for everybody else. And I started studying. I worked for about 9 months at a company called, it was Century 21 Turner Property Group, and they paid for me to get my real estate license. Taught me a lot going through it. And then I worked at SUMA for 8 years about. And I was finishing my studies while working up at the front desk because my background is administrative, HR, payroll, that kind of thing. So I was processing commission checks and doing all that, kind of learning and studying and learning through osmosis at the agency.
Right.
There. So I got very good at learning what not to do on my contracts.
Right.
That guy to hold people's paychecks. And I just love it. I mean, it's something that it took me 50 years almost to figure out what I want to do in my life when I grew up.
And you have arrived. And you've been in business since 2016, did you say?
Yeah.
What do you find to be the most rewarding thing about the industry?
For me, it's the feel good, the making a difference with my clients. There's a lot of agents that are money driven out there, and yeah, it's important, obviously, for, you got to pay your bills. But I figure if I do my job the right way, the money's going to come. And for me, it's more about knowing that I made a difference for somebody, helping. I've got a friend of mine right now, I just got a contract accepted last night, in fact, for her first time home buyer. She's ecstatic. I walked her through the process. So it's just seeing her, and she's like, oh my God, I didn't know that this would be possible. And thank you so much. You've been amazing. And, it's just being able to get that feeling from people.
You touched on several things there, and this explains why you are mostly referral based, correct?
Mm-hmm, I am.
At this point, with 6 years, almost 7 years in, referral based. And you had mentioned in our pre-interview about a call you got when you were shopping one day. And so I would love for you to share with the audience what this person said to you.
Yeah, so this client, I initially met them when I very first started. I didn't have a lot of clients or a big network base or anything else. So I started showing rental properties to get clientele because a lot of these people are looking for apartments, and eventually they're going to want homes. So I take them out and talk to them and kind of flip the script a little bit in my way. And I have a handful of clients that I converted over to homeowners. And this particular client, I got him and his wife into a house. I want to say it was like in 2019 that they bought their first home. And they didn't think it was going to be possible. I had worked with them for a couple of years, got him in touch with a lender. They worked through stuff they needed to. And when they were ready, we found them the perfect home and got them in. And, I stay in touch with them periodically, but I just got a call out of the blue the other day, and Eric calls me up and he's like, hey, Kristin, Eric here. I wanted to just call and say, he goes, nothing's wrong. He goes, everything is great, but I just wanted to call and say thank you again. He said, there's a lot of bad agents that are out there, and you're hearing a lot of stories about people doing stuff, and they're an ethnic couple, and he said diversity, he said there's discrimination going on, there's all kinds of things happening, and he said you treated us like you were our family, and we appreciated that so much about you. And he said, I just want to say thank you. I felt like I had to do that, and that's the only reason I'm calling.
volumes about the woman you are, the business owner that you are, and how you run your business, which sounds like it's relationship based.
It is. It is
Yeah,
100% for me.
which is awesome. So tell me about some of the things you do to touch your clients that show that you care and that you're building the relationship with them.
I do my personal, my texting and staying in touch with them. I try to do that like once a month, once every couple months, to my clients. I send out once in a while, I'll do like 3 or 4 mailers of some sort a year. I do my calendars. But during the holidays, I kind of go a little bit above and beyond, and people call me crazy. But the last 3 or 4 years, I have put together boxes of like homemade cookies and candies. I'm the baker in the family. I always have been. So during Christmas, my kitchen gets shut down for 18 to 28 hours and it's literally in lockdown. And I've got all kinds of candies and cookies.
There'll be no food except for sugar related
No,
goodies.
it's we're ordering out for 2 days because I'm baking and my whole kitchen table is covered in cookies and candies and whatever. But I give it out to people, neighbors and friends and family. And I put together gift baskets. So I just kind of expanded on that. And
Yeah.
so one year I made cookies and I individually wrapped them, created labels so that people knew what was in them in case they had allergies. And, I packed them up, put candies in them and then delivered them. And the first year, I think it took me 9.5 hours of driving and 350 miles radius to the ones that I could actually deliver to. The second year, I kind of got smarter and I paid my son some money to go do it.
Leverage is key.
Yes, yes, no, absolutely. And so I just said, drop it and run. Ring the doorbell, drop the box, text the message, and run. And he said his phone was blowing up every time he did it. This past year, I got into crafting and made some homemade soaps and healing balms and bath milk bath type stuff, and put together little packages for my clients again, and something that they could use. And I actually got some feedback from some guys. It's like, oh my God, this stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's those things that they remember, and it's going above and beyond. Yeah, sometimes it's time consuming. It costs a little bit extra sometimes, but to me, it's worth it. I'm a giver. I always have been. I'm a nurturer, and doing that, going above and beyond like that is what I do. My husband thinks I'm crazy for doing it. He just, he's like, you're spending too much time on that. You shouldn't be focusing on
Yeah.
this. But people remember it. And my clients are referring their friends and their family to me. And, that
Yes.
it's just how I am. I can't change who I am. So,
Love that you're a giver, Kristen. It goes back to the go giver way, right?
mhm,
Givers, you end up gaining because of who you were created to be. You were a giver by nature.
yeah,
And that comes back around, right? And people will remember when they're eating the cookies or sharing them with other people, or the bath bombs or the healing bombs, right? They could have a guest in their house. And they could say, "Oh my God, these are great. Where did you get them?" The last thing that person expects to hear is from my real estate agent,
yep,
right? They're probably going to say, my friend Kristen, who's a real estate agent, and then they refer you out, right?
yes.
That's beautiful. So let's jump into, you are your business, and I can see that in your relationship base, which has turned you into a referral based business. What are the values that you embrace in your personal life that show up in your business that create these relationships?
Just being true to who I am, really. For me, at the end of the day, it's having integrity, knowing that I can go to bed at night doing everything that I could have possibly done. It doesn't always work out, but I can go to sleep at night knowing that I did everything I could. And the next one
Right.
is going to come. And I always have that conversation. It's like, you know what? It's a timing thing, and a right thing is going to come along when it's meant to happen. And you just have to have faith and trust in me. And I'm not going to steer you wrong. I will never give you advice. I will give you my opinion all day long. And, honestly, if I think you need to run away from a situation because I'm seeing things before I got into this industry, I was clueless. When I bought this house that I'm in now, I would have never known any of the things that I know now.
Right.
But I'm more in tune with walking into a house and it's like, okay, these are going to be red flags. And this is going to turn into a money pit, or yeah, there's deferred maintenance, but it's things that you can work through and it's livable. And, if you can handle it, you can totally function with this. And, I think people value that. And any agent that is genuine with their clients, and is transparent with them, I think their people are going to listen to them. I mean, I found that with mine, that they totally trust me and they value my opinion. And, it's, I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of resources. So again, I'm never going to give advice to anybody. I'll give them my opinion. I have resources, I have attorneys, I have contractors, I have all kinds of people that I can refer them to if need be.
So I love that. And it sounds like your clients know that with you being truthful, full of integrity and transparent, that you're not after the dollar, right?
Yeah,
That you are after getting them into the house of their dreams.
yeah,
That's the bottom line, not just pushing them into a house, whether there's trouble there or not. That's a
yeah,
beautiful thing because trust and integrity and authenticity are huge. I love
yeah,
those are your values. That's
yeah.
awesome. So share with me, if there were a new agent, I'm going to ask two different ways. If you were mentoring a new agent, because you're also a mentor, you got a certified mentor
Right.
certificate through EXP. What's the number one best piece of advice that you'd give to a newbie in the business?
Have patience. Number one, it's definitely not get rich quick. I was fortunate in that my husband worked full time, and so I had the additional income coming in
Yeah.
to help offset. Those who are less fortunate, that are single parents, or they have a day job and they can't do this full time, it's like, hang in there. It's going to happen. You just have to continue and continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't give up and ask questions. Find somebody that you can connect with and have them help you. And I'm all about sharing the information that I have and the things that I have that were given to me. Why reinvent the wheel? If something is working for somebody, it may not be exactly the right thing for them, but they can tweak it to fit them. And
Absolutely.
I think that that's the best thing. I mean, I'm not super tech savvy at all. And some of these people are way younger than me. They're my kids' age. And I'm looking at them as like, okay, well, you can teach me this and I'll learn from you. And in the meantime, I've got experience because I've got life experience. You've got the technology side, so we can help each other.
I
And I
love
think
that.
that's kind of what it comes down to is, we're all in this together. Let's work together. And it doesn't matter what agency you're with. We can all work together and help each other.
I love that because you're creating win-win outcomes for everybody. And does that pour into your negotiations and relationships with the real estate agent on the other side of the deal?
It does. In fact, last night, I just had an offer accepted for a friend of mine who, I'm also a licensed Zumba instructor, and we went through trainings together. She reached out to me through Facebook and said, "Hey, I know you. I know all about you. I want you to help me do this. I trust you." And we got notified last night that our offer got accepted. We're starting to get into bidding wars again. And it was multiple offer situation. Ours ended up, she came up $20,000 on hers, and we were still the lowest offer. But throughout the entire transaction, up to finding out last night, I had built a relationship with that agent. I had spoken with her. I had communicated with her throughout the weekend, stayed on top of it, just said, "Hey, is there anything we can do? Please keep me posted," checking in with her periodically. And last night she calls me and she said, "Well, we got two more offers in." And she said, "Yours is the lowest, but, they're all conventional terms. We offered free rent back for 30 days. We offered a quick close. We shortened our inspection period. I mean, we did everything to super clean offer." I said, "I don't write messy offers." It's
Right?
super clean, little to no ask. And I said, unless it's in the four major categories, we're not going to ask for anything. And so she told her people, she said, "This agent is somebody that I want to work with. And I think it's going to be a way smoother, cleaner transaction if we do this." And
Wow.
yeah, and I kind of told the backstory of my client advocating for her. She moved her mom out here, who's 91, who's kind of early onset dementia, and caring for her mom. And she wanted to find a place, and this place was perfect. And I explained that to her. And it just so happened that this guy who is selling the house is a social worker. And the story resonated with him because she relayed that information. You know, the whole love letter thing, I'm a firm believer of those. I always ask the agents first, but I think it goes a long way with advocating for the client. And if they can't do it, then I'm gonna put it in the email and kind of do a recap summary and and build that relationship. And this isn't the first time that we've had the lowest offer that I've gotten accepted because of the relationship that I had with that agent.
I love that. So here's what they're saying about you, right? Who you are. They're seeing who you are, creating
Yep.
win-win situations, and deals, and having integrity, being transparent. Tell this could be a good teaching moment for anyone listening. You said unless it's within the 4 categories, we want to keep it a clean offer. What do you mean
Yes.
by that?
Structure, safety, health, and hazard related. Any of the big, I call it the big four, but any of those things. So, you've got structural damage to the house, you've got sewer line issues, you've got mold in the attic, it's all health and safety related, things like that that are going to be major, major fixes. And typically the big four category, those are things that could potentially get called out by an appraiser if the house is appraised, which could completely shut down the whole process because
Yeah.
lender won't fund on it. So, even if it's an as is, which this particular property was, I said, as is meaning you don't want to be nickel and dimed, or as is meaning it truly is as is and you're not doing anything, because if that's the case, if something came up, it wouldn't be lendable. And she
Yeah.
said, no, we would address those big issues if something should come up. And I always kind of specify that with people because as is really isn't always as is.
Yes, yes. Right. So dig in a little bit. What
Yeah.
does that mean? I love that. That's also going above and beyond.
Yep.
Because many people would say, oh, it just says as is. They're not willing to budge, but you're willing to talk, be transparent, and negotiate, right? The
Yep.
best deal for everybody. Love that. All right. Final question. So, what is the biggest lesson you've had to learn by being in the industry?
Um, it's tough. You have wins and you have losses. Um, I am very transparent when it comes to wearing my feelings on my sleeve, and having to say no to people has always been very difficult for me. So I'm getting better about saying no because not every client is worth the battle. I mean, you can have a first time home buyer, they're always going to be needy because they don't know what they don't know. But you could also have a high net worth property, $1 million property, and those people are just as needy, just in a different way. They will work you like a workhorse if they think they can. You kind of have to sometimes stand your ground because I used to let myself get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to be more eyes wide open going into situations.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily like to throw in the towel. It's really hard, especially when you've got a lot of time and energy invested
Yep.
in something. It's really hard to walk away from that. But I have actually fired a couple clients
Yeah. Yeah.
just because it just got abusive and crazy. And, it was like, I'm worth more than this. I don't need this abuse, and something better is going to come along. So for me, really, it's gaining more confidence in myself and being able to stand up and help others and be able to say no when I need to.
Yeah, and I really honor that within you because that's what I call setting win-win healthy boundaries, right? Losing sleep over someone who's going to drag you down the rabbit hole and use
Yep.
you as a doormat is not worth any price, right? Because then
No.
you can't be of service and go above and beyond for the ones who are aligned with your values, right?
Yeah.
Which is one of which we didn't mention is being kind, being a nice human, right?
Yeah.
100%. Well, I can see it's been so great to connect with you today. You are, without a doubt, a world-class leader in our industry. And I'm
Thank you.
proud of the woman, the wife, the mother, and the real estate agent that you are. And I believe that we have shown all of the reasons why you've been selected to become the top broker agent for your area. I'm proud of you and congratulations.
Thank you so much.